If you don't plan, your holiday will be a flan.
Welcome to our first proper video. We're going to share some of our hints and tips and what we've done so far, because we are 5 months and 14 days now away from our holiday. We're assuming with this that you've booked your flights and you've booked your hotel.
You actually have a holiday.
You actually have a package, or you have a holiday you're going on. This is not the video for actually booking it. This is for starting to plan it. So we booked ours July 2018, didn't we?
Did we?
Well before. Yeah, we did.
How do you remember things like that?
July 4th. July 4th we booked it.
I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
We booked it in July last year because we were super early, because we had major Disney movies coming back in April, and we wanted to book another one for November because we prefer going in full time.
Autumn.
We're going to be going...
I have to scold her. It's autumn, not fall.
If you've done all of that and you have a holiday coming up and you are 7 to 6 months before, we have already chosen our flight seats.
Yes.
And we like to sit, if you are a couple going to Disney World and you are flying in economy, because we've only ever flown in economy. On Virgin. We haven't flown with anyone else, but Virgin have always done us well, and we love going to Disney on Virgin. It's very comfy, the in-flight entertainment is always good, it's just a great flight. We like to book the 2 seats at the back. Now, the plane, I find it a little bit claustrophobic walking down. However, when I'm sat there are next to the loos at the back, but however, you've got no one sitting next to you.
There's no Satan children
There's
behind you.
no Satan children behind you, and you have extra leg room.
And you're right next to the toilet, which sounds horrible, but it doesn't smell. It's just convenient.
And it is very convenient. You can tell when there's not going to be any queue, so you're basically queuing in your seat.
Some people might not like that because then technically you're going to be one of the last to get off the plane.
Yes.
But there's no rush anyway because you're going to be stuck in a long queue either way.
Yeah, I'm not good in a really congested crowd in a small space. So I don't mind crowds in Disney World when I'm in there because it's very open.
I hate that.
But if we are in a small contained aeroplane... Oh yeah.
Different crowd.
If we were in a small contained aeroplane, I really don't feel great. So I like to sit there, finish the film I'm watching, or just have a chat with them for the 20 minutes it takes people to get off, and have a nice smooth walk off. So if you are a couple and you don't mind sitting at the back, you have extra leg room for no extra fee, and they are pretty nice seats. But I would do it as soon as you can, because on the way there, we haven't got that, have we?
What?
One of the ways, I don't know which way it is, I feel we're in a 3-seat.
We are, they stole our seats.
I think it's on the way there, we're on a 3-seat. Which is fine, it will be fine when we've got each other. But we are near the back for this, I think we're just the one ahead. Next, almost slightly boring thing we're gonna mention, but it's very important, is Esters. Now, if you have been to Disney World within the last year and a half, and you're going again, your Esters should still have 6 months left on it. They last for 2 years. We need to redo ours coming up for this trip. They cost about £13 each, so not very much, but I would recommend doing them as early as possible. If there are any problems, you don't want to be doing it last minute and not being allowed into the country.
So make sure you do out your passport.
Do check your passports, check they're going to be in date, do your Esters, and make sure when you're entering it online that you do it all correctly, because also you want to make sure your name's correct. So if you're going on your Disney Moon, don't put in your married name.
Is it Disney Moon? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Going on a Disney Moon, make sure you put in your name that's on your passport, not your married name. Because if you do put your married name, yes, it's nice and sweet, but they will still turn you away because you're not the one matching your passport. But there's a few things with Disney you need to book in advance. I mean, these are things you can book later, but certain times you may want, certain days, they may not be available. So one thing we'd say is to look at your holiday as a whole and to check if there are any American bank holidays, because when we looked in November, we don't have this in the UK, but there is Veterans Day on the 11th of November. We are there during that time.
Which is lovely for the Americans and the veterans, but we don't want to be in the crowds that's going to bring.
So that obviously would increase crowd levels, it will increase how busy it is in terms of getting places and traffic. So we have opted to go to Discovery Cove, because there is a cap on how many people they allow in, no matter if it's a bank holiday or not. And we plan on having a lovely lazy day in Discovery Cove without having to worry about the crowds.
So we're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Yes.
But obviously if you can't just splurge out on a trip to Discovery Cove just because you don't want to go with the crowds, then possibly think about doing something else on that day instead, like having a rest day at your hotel.
Like having a pool day, maybe go to Disney Springs in the morning, because that may not be where people go. I think the parks are busier. But we haven't been there on a holiday. We normally avoid booking over July 4th or anything like that. But yeah, that's where we've chosen to go, and we are very lucky to do that. We're very excited.
Yes.
With the planning is to make an itinerary, so to have a look and sort of dot around the parks you really want to get to and how many times you want to get there. We've probably made about 3 of these already.
Oh God.
Just moving around, I find it really helpful to picture days, and Emma finds it a little bit overwhelming that I mention it every day.
Every week or so she's like, let's make a new plan.
Yeah.
Let's make a new plan with the plans we have. I'm like,
I think it's good because it helps your brain work out and it helps you see how smooth things can go. So if you go to near one park and you have a restaurant in the next park or a lodge you want to go to, make sure you do it in the same day. If you have a bigger party, there may be, I don't know, the grandma and granddad that don't want to come to every park, but you want to be able to make sure you go to one with your little girl. So just, yeah, I think
it kind of works out well. The more people you have, everybody should just have a bullet list of a couple of things they really, really want to do. And then from there you can plan out, you know, which parks you need to go to get that done, where you need to go, what you need to book to eat. It's just important to everybody has a couple of things that they definitely want to do, because the smaller your list is, the more pleasure you'll have in your holiday if you manage to do them.
Because you can't do everything, and I was one of the awful ones. I think that when I first went, I thought we could do everything. Been a few more times, and I am now not the wee bab I was when I went at first. I now know you can't do everything, but
She's
that is
seasoned and crusty now.
but that is the joy of going again, because you can do more things. So just have a realistic expectation. So Disney have a thing where you can book 180 days in advance for multiple things, from dining reservations to recreational activities and spa facilities as well. If you're staying on Disney property, you get an extra 10 days with that, so it's 190 days, which I don't feel is spoken about quite a lot. But if you're staying in certain hotels, you get an extra 10 days to book, which is extremely helpful for certain dining reservations, which we'll get to a bit later. And things you can book also 180 days in advance, that being Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique if you have any young boys and girls that want to go there and you don't like a princess. Then that is something you can book in advance, which if you have a specific day you want to do it on, then I would suggest booking it as early as possible to get the time and the day you want.
You have to call up for that.
You do have to call up for that. The Senses Spa at Grand Floridian and Saratoga Springs, you would need to call up also to book those, but you can do those 180 days in advance, which I think is also very handy. There are special events going on, so after parties, Not So Scary Halloween Party, Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, you can book those 180 days before. What I would say is I think with Disney it's a good idea to book because they get booked up pretty quickly because they're family friendly. However, Universal Horror Nights, we didn't book early when we went in 2016, and the first day we turned up and said, this is our 2-week window, when do you have dates? And they gave us 2 tickets and it cost us $55 like as together. So it was what, $20 odd each? So that was so cheap, whereas over here it would cost us a lot more to book for over there. So that was good. So I think with that, you may be able to get extra spaces if you go at the beginning and say this is the 2-week window when you have 2 spaces. Something that isn't Disney related, but is kind of like for the holiday, it's something that I'm personally doing, and I know that Emma is as well, is to look at maybe your fitness, or if you're looking to lose weight, you may not be, because Disney is a very hard holiday in terms of lots and lots of walking. It's very strenuous and people don't, I think, realise that, but you're going and you're going and you're going sometimes from 7 a.m. in the morning all the way through to midnight, maybe 2 or 3 parks in the day. Some people don't rest for some of the days either. But now I'm definitely starting my weight loss journey to be like, I just want to lose a bit of weight. It's my own for confidence, things like that. That might not be for everyone.
I just have the vain goal of wanting to tone up a bit so that I can wear a bikini on my holiday, like water park, and be like, I look fine. Well, you can look fine however you want to look fine.
I think it just depends on how you feel about your own body. Like, I know that I'd like to lose a bit of weight to feel a bit more confident in photos, and for the fact that I know I will eat and eat and eat when I'm there. I'd rather not put on more weight. I'd rather just have a little bit of like extra room to put on weight.
And eat lots of food.
So that is something to think about. 6 months before is a good amount of time to start doing a little bit of a life change if you want to. But if you don't, that's cool. You may not want to.
Go on your holiday and eat.
Yeah, just go on holiday and be you. You do universal dining. You can also book this 180 days in advance. You can do this through online, though I don't really find the online booking system as easy or accessible as Disney. You can also call up. But I think most of Universal's restaurants you can walk in. We've booked only for one before, and that was Mythos, which was good because people were waiting there wanting to get in and they couldn't. But I haven't felt a need to book for anything like 3 Broomsticks Eat Cauldron. I don't think you can.
Walk in.
It's a walk-in one and you get seated within 20 minutes. It's quick service. Whereas Mythos we did book for, and we were glad we did, but it was lovely in there.
So the next thing to talk about is the My Disney Experience app. It's important to have that downloaded way before, you know, your 6 months period.
Way before.
Just to get used to it, find your way around it, because it's there's a lot in it. So you can look at all the different restaurants, all the different
menus,
yeah,
lots of different things. I mean, we would also say, like, we are going to do a full, like, intricate video about the app and what you can do with it. That will probably come in a couple of weeks, because it is good to know your way around it.
So once you've gotten used to your Experience app and you know what you're doing with it,
and you've created an account, you must create an account.
Create that account
and add your card to it, because
Add
you
your
will
card.
need your debit card attached, or credit card, whichever you use, in it before you can book.
they're not going to take any money from you. They just want it there just in case you cancel the day before.
So the cancellation policy is normally 24 hours before. But it's always good to have it on there and ready and practice booking, because if when you're booking a dinner reservation or a lunch reservation or whatever you're booking, and you've put your time and then you have to sign in, you then have to add your credit card, the time you want may have gone. So I don't think they reserve it for you either, so you've got to make sure that everything is ready to get the right time and have everything ready to sign in and go.
So as soon as your window opens, you need to be on there booking, because things go so quickly, and because your Disney resort guests may have already gotten in there and taken loads of good spaces, if you're one of the non-resort people, you need to be on there as soon as you can.
I think that 10-day window is so good for the people who are on site. So if you are on site, then make sure you use that. But yeah, you need to be on it. So the time at the moment is, it's 6 a.m. USA time. So for us in the UK, it is 11 o'clock. I've been there at 11 o'clock and got the reservations I want. I've been there at 11:05 and I've missed some of the times, and some of them are just not there anymore. So the 5 minutes matters. I'm not saying that you'll get to the end of the day and nothing will be there, because we can still chop and change.
And of course you can still go and queue for the restaurants there. So it's not the be all and end all, but obviously if you've got a reservation, everything's much easier.
You know you've got it. From this video, we've just got Ohana. But every day I was going on to it and we were finding 9:30, 9:15, and we don't eat that late. Just looked till we found a 3:30 reservation. But you can still queue for Ohana. But I did read a few blogs that were saying that they've queued up, and sometimes they've queued from 4:30. I've not actually got anything because everyone has turned up for the reservation. So you can queue up, but just be mindful that it doesn't guarantee you a table. One of my biggest tips would be multiple bookings. Now the beauty of Disney dining reservations is that you don't have to keep the table you're booking or the time. You can modify it, so you can book it and then modify it later on. I book 3 different ones normally. I book a breakfast, lunch and a dinner for certain ones I want to. I repeat them throughout the 2 weeks as well. So I think I've booked in ours 2 chefs de France, I've booked 2 sci-fi diners at different times, so lunch and dinner, so that when we're going through them a bit later on, we can chop and change and move a holiday around without having to then search around for another time.
And this is also reassuring, because then as you get closer to your holiday, if you couldn't get reservations for the places you wanted, remember that reservation hogs. We'll give them up nearer the time, so keep checking every week. So some of the restaurants you're probably going to struggle with, unless you get on there on the very day it opens, on the very time your slot opens. Places like Ohana,
Be Our Guest, Cinderella's Royal Table,
they're quite difficult.
Chef Mickey's, Garden Grill not so much, but I was on there at 11 o'clock, so I did get some.
A lot of the signature dining ones.
Yes,
book
California
up quite
Grill.
quickly.
The Wave also can get quite busy. And Rainforest Cafe in the lunch times I think has also been busy. And parks that have new attractions. So Hollywood Studios, even I think the early breakfast reservations, people want to book them early because they get early admittance into the park. So when I was looking at Garden Grill, the earliest I could get I think was 8:20, and you think that dining reservations breakfast can be earlier than that. People do just grab them to get early admittance. It's a very handy trick to know. And if you're going and staying on Disney property, you'll have that 10 days extra. Use it to book a hotel. Use it to book a restaurant in a park to get early admittance. But they're the ones that go early because they're the priority times.
So an important thing for your planning is to remember about the park hours and the crowd calendars. So the park hours will be distributed online 180 days before. So that's always useful to check, because then you can see when extra magic hours are, any expected events that may
happen. And they don't have a timer on them. They're normally released before the dining reservations, which I have found so helpful, because I now know what parks have magic hours we should avoid, what to book on that day for reservations. And I didn't use that before. This is the first year that I've actually realised they're updated like that, and I didn't know they're updated so early. So especially seeing what early magic hours are available on that day made it very easy for us.
and the crowd calendars on certain different planning websites. They're really useful. They're not obviously entirely reliable, but you can sometimes then avoid parks that are going to be more busy on certain days.
We found the Brick Guide. We don't know if many of you other Brits who are also going. The Brick Guide, which is a physical book, which we love. We get it for every trip. Is super, super helpful. At the back, they have a crowd guide and a planner to help you get the most out of your day. Obviously, days can be busy just because days are busy, but the generalised look of it is normally quite right. We followed it before and it's been really accurate. So in terms of the pre 6 months before, they are our hints and tips and tricks to making your planning or starting your planning a little bit sooner and making the most out of your 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a week or 10 days, whatever you have your Disney holiday. This is going to become a series, so we are going to be doing what you should be doing 3 months before. We'll be doing an in-depth look at the app. I am very used to the app. I used it all the time last time. I'm using it a lot now. They've recently updated it, so it has little animations. It's so cute. I love it. It comes up with fireworks and a Mickey-shaped head. I love it. And we'll link down below DFB Guide because they're really good. Brick Guide on Amazon. So if you're not really into watching, I mean, if you watch YouTube, you're probably going to be into watching YouTube for watching us right now. But if you prefer a hard copy, which we loved and we do love, and I will be ordering one for our trip in November.
And it's got lots of things that aren't Disney in there as well.
Yes, it's really good. We'll link that down below as well. Any other comments or anything else we've forgotten, let us know down below. We might find out more tips and tricks that we don't know about. Any questions, again, we'll answer down below. Click subscribe, there'll be more Disney videos and non-Disney videos coming along the way. And we'll see you very soon with another video. Bye!